So a brilliant away win at Old Trafford, lads, and then the same again. In fact, probably it's hard to say whether it's even better or not, but a last-minute winner like that. I know we got some funny stories first of all about what we were all doing when that goal went in. Now, Reece, I know you can just tell us because I ruined it for you, basically, didn't I?
Yep. So I was out watching it with a few mates, having a few beers, and I think Declan Rice had just broke with the ball. And then my phone went off and it was you saying, get in there. And I was just like, right, okay. And then I just not say I couldn't see how it was going to pan out, and obviously when Antonio got the ball, happy days. So, yeah, thanks very much for that, mate. Luckily enough, I didn't say anything to anyone in there. I didn't start shouting, we've scored.
Yeah.
But,
let everyone else enjoy it.
Yeah, so if my phone goes off for an hour and I won't be looking at it, whoever it is.
It's weird actually because I'm not really one for like sitting on my phone usually. Normally I'm the one who like picks it up 10 minutes after the game or whatever, like load of WhatsApp notifications. But yeah, I was on the train on the way back from work when I had it on the radio, like proper old school, listening to 5 Live commentary in my ear. And yeah, as soon as it went in, I proper just lost myself a bit. Proper, so I stood up and fist bumped in the carriage. Looked like an absolute psychopath because I had my little earbuds in. So it probably didn't even look like I didn't have these big headphones on. Just some random geezer like standing up in the middle of the train for no reason, doing fist bumps out of nowhere. The poor bloke next to me absolutely crapped himself. The poor bloke, literally looking at me like I was an absolute alien. I was like, just couldn't really explain. I was like, sorry, mate, Michail Antonio just put us 2-1 up at Leeds, 90th minute. You wouldn't understand. But yeah, so I was straight on the text end, mate, because I was just on the phone, had nothing else on the train. I mean, had nothing else to distract me. Jonesy, were you watching it live on an iffy channel like Reece or a legitimate radio broadcast like myself?
No, I was old school soccer Saturday for the first half.
Nice.
And then at half time took a wander into town, and I'll take your train celebration and raise your middle of Marks and Spencer's celebration. Yeah, but that celebration was for the disallowed Souček goal. So I went from jumping around middle of Marks and Spencer's to saying some unsavoury words quite loudly. Looking at my phone and people looking at me like, what on earth are you up to?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then sort of spent most of the time in town, glued to my phone, keeping an eye on the updates. So yeah, good afternoon, all in.
Lovely stuff. Good try though, mate. You're not kidding anyone with Marks and Spencer's there. We all know it was Aldi.
Well, Aldi's next door. We were going there after.
yeah, straight in there after. Yeah. No, that was quite something. Now, I mean, it's almost strange, isn't it? How this big team mentality that Manuel Pellegrini excellently installed during his reign that David Moyes has just taken on and sculpted himself. I know you're not having that one at all, Jonesy, and I'm joking, of course, but there almost is a sense these days. I wasn't at all, and I was only listening to on the radio, but the commentator was giving a good picture of what was going on and how saying we were the most likely to score. It's almost obviously it was brilliant. I was delighted that we did, but it's not as much of a surprise anymore, is it? I don't know what you think, Jonesy, but it's like it was all a weird little bit of me started to expect these sort of things now because it's now the club that we are. Come back from losing positions, we've just got a positive can do, can win attitude for the whole 95, 6, 7 minutes or whatever the games end up being these days.
Yeah, it's the second time we've done it this season. We did it at Newcastle as well, didn't we? On the opening weekend. Did it countless times last season. And you're right, I think now every time, well, before, you go 1-0 down and you'll just go, well, that's that then. I mean, how many are we going to concede now? And now you go 1-0 down and you go, it don't matter. As long as there's enough time on the clock, you do back this West Ham team to at least get back and at least nick a draw off it. So you're right. I mean, when Raphinha scored at the weekend, it was still like, okay, it was only the first half. And judging by the commentary on, particularly on Soccer Saturday, I think it was Paul Merson. He was going, there's going to be loads of goals in this game. It's going to be loads. It's end-to-end stuff. And even at 1-0 down, he just knew that we would get into it, and we would score. So, and that's just the trend that David Moyes has instilled. And I'm not going to go on to our big team mentality train, but yeah, it's a great mentality to have, and David Moyes needs to take a lot of credit for that, because West Ham teams of old would have crumbled at 1-0 down at Leeds, wouldn't they?
Yeah, proper. That would have been it, wouldn't it? It would have been 3-0 to them in no time. But yeah, I think it is nice. I must admit that my jokes about big team mentality, that is what I was after basically at the time, what we're seeing now. So it's nice to actually have it enacted out with actions rather than just the words we were getting from Mr. Pellegrini. But specifics of the game, Reece, so sort of only one place to start, I guess, and it is with that dramatic last-minute winner. A brilliant pass from Declan Rice, the old alternative commentary that I know all three of us listened to. Well, we, of course, had him on for a charity bet last season, West Ham Clips on Twitter. If you don't follow already, you must have had your head on under a rock because he's absolutely brilliant. And he made the joke in his alternative commentary that came out after the game. How Declan Rice plays a spectacular pass sideways to play Mark Henry, he calls him, but play Michail Antonio through to tuck away the winner. It was a brilliant breakaway, and I must admit the pass from Declan Rice was okay, but Antonio made that, didn't he? It wasn't like on a plate for him as such, was it? He had a bit of work to do, and the composure he showed, just a man of absolutely brimming with confidence, Reece.
I think if you go back right at when the ball was in our box, the players that would get, I think it was Vlasic that made the initial pass, and even that, it was just a calm pass. It weren't a erratic hoof. Rice put some pace on that ball into Antonio. What I do like at the moment is he's scoring different goals. You know, he's getting the ones where he's having a bit of a one-on-one and things like that. But that was a proper striker's goal. That nicked it nice and calm. And to be fair to that goalkeeper, obviously I thought their goalkeeper had a blinder Saturday. Watching the game, and just to slot it in, and some of the players weren't even interested in celebrating with Antonio. They would like straight to the away end.
Yeah.
I love that. It was a proper, I will say, listening to, you could hear the commentary and that. It was like, for me, an old school 90s football match.
Yeah.
Both fans at it, play. It was like a basketball match end to end. He took his goal really, really well.
Yeah, Jarrod Bowen was straight over, wasn't he? And then like fans spilling onto the pitch and all that. Obviously, we can't condemn that sort of stuff. But, when you see it, it's just raw passion, isn't it? Spilling over. And it's just brilliant stuff. And to get a win away from home like that. And I think we needed it as well. A couple of draws that, obviously the United game, I think people were quick to forgive that. But the two draws before against Southampton and Crystal Palace, teams that you sort of think, well, we want to be winning those. And that kind of, I don't know, with that Leeds game, we've said it, didn't we, early on after 4 games, if we swap the results round, that Leeds game kind of doesn't make the Crystal Palace draw at home seem too bad, does it? Or either one, the Southampton, whatever. But if you just swapped that and said, well, we beat Palace at home and drew away to Leeds, you'd probably still take that, wouldn't you? It's obviously put us 7th in the Premier League, so we're still in the mix. And the league already is starting to take shape, isn't it? And for us to get that win, I think it was important. I think if that was a draw, a little bit of negativity just creeps in, because sort of 3 games against out of form teams you'd hope to win. We've still got the big guns to come, of course. So definitely one we needed, I thought. In the early stages, then Jonesy, they went 1-0 up, of course. Excellent goal from Leeds, bent into the corner nicely. They had a post again, and they could have easily been 2-0 up. You were quick to say when we were chatting about it before, though, well, so could we. Just from a Leeds point of view first, though, do you feel like we rode our luck a little bit after Rafinha's goal? 19 minutes on the clock, when Rafinha put them 1-0 up, and then they hit the post soon after.
Well, I mean, it's a great finish from Rafinha, but they were fortunate in that Thomas Souček uncharacteristically gave the ball away on the halfway line. So that chance was created out of our own mistake. And then they hit the post.
Becoming a little bit characteristic these recently, isn't it?
True.
Worryingly,
he's not been his best since the opening weekend of the season. I think he's just knackered probably, but yeah. You say that maybe we rode our luck, but they rode, as I've already said, they rode their luck down the other end. Meslier keeping the ball out, a couple of times. So Reece said it. It was like a basketball match. So both teams could have been 3 or 4 at half time. So we rode our luck. They rode their luck, and it's just unfortunate that it was just them that managed to get the goal in the first half.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, there's a big chance. I think it was Ben Rama, wasn't it, who come close early in the game. Like you say, Ilhan Meslier in goal, playing well for Leeds as well. Jarrod Bowen, Reece. We've been chomping on the bit. James likes backing him in his Betway charity bets. I thought he's been fantastic the last couple of games. Man United at home is the best game by a mile I've seen him play for West Ham. I was so impressed. I just thought he was absolutely class in that game. Worked his socks off the whole game, and his end product seems to be getting a little bit better as well. I'm more confident than I was perhaps in previous times. With a lot of the time he gets on the ball and he just wants to sprint, doesn't he? And you sort of think with that, as obviously the burst of pace is good, but sometimes you need that little calm head right at the end, just when it matters. Saw it with Emile Smith-Rowe in the North London derby at the weekend, sprinted like 90 yards almost from his own half, and then just had the composure at the end to stop and just calmly lay it back into Aubameyang, who sweeps in the corner. And the same from Bowen. I think he's adding that to his game a little bit more. When he gets in those positions, he's thinking about it and he's calming down if he needs to. Again, pre-chat, someone said, I think it was both of you, a bit harsh for him to have the goal taken off of him. You sound like Glenn Hoddle on Sky when it gets like the biggest deflection ever. He goes, a slight bit of fortune there. It got flipping 2 deflections. It hit 2 blokes on the way in. And but you reckon that Bowen's unlucky not to be given a goal, do you?
100%. It was on target. I can't see how. I'd be fuming if that was me and that got taken away from me.
Keeper would have saved it though, wouldn't he?
How do you know?
You don't know, do you?
It's on target,
just with my eyes.
It was on target, so therefore, regardless of how many deflections it takes, it should, as long as the first shot was on target, which it was, then it should be his goal.
No chance. You can't.
He was shooting, wasn't he? If he was crossing it or something like that, but you knew that as soon as he cut in, he was shooting.
His end game was the ball hitting the back of the net. That's what he was kicking the ball for, to go in the back of the net. So it's a goal. It's
you reckon he deflected that off of both of them on purpose? Like some sort of elaborate trick shot. What's that good? What was that snooker program in the 90s with Jim Davidson? Was it The Big Break?
Big Break.
You used to wheel out John Parrott at the end to do a few trick shots. Jarrod Bowen was the John Parrott of West Ham United apparently now. But again, it's nice to see his endeavour the last few games rewarded with something like that. I think he played really well, didn't he, at Old Trafford? We mentioned it there. You got to applaud his fitness. Bloke's keeping himself in fantastic condition. He's just so quick, isn't he? He's worried defenders. Moyes loves him because he works his socks off. I wonder how many times I'm going to use that phrase this evening. But yeah, just nice to see Jonesy his hard work rewarded with which he would have liked, or you two would have liked to have seen it as a goal. But at least he got himself an assist there.
Not really assist, is it?
Behave yourself. Go on. I mean, obviously you don't want to talk about fantasy football, but if you go on the fantasy football, it was credited as an assist. Junior Firpo own goal, of course.
It shouldn't be an assist. But you're right. He's been. I'd say one of our best players this season. Unfortunately, the numbers don't show it. And he was one of our best players last season. He was a little bit of an unsung hero last year, I thought. If you look at his stats, last year, they were very, very good, very, very good. I think it was it 8 goals and 6 assists or something like that. This year, probably, I was actually looking at his XG stats the other day. And,
so you had all this time to do XG, but not to check
that
wasn't earlier on.
That wasn't prep for the pod. That was prep for someone else. But
priorities, Jonesy, priorities.
Yeah, sorry guys, sorry, but his XG, his XG is better than what he's actually delivered so far. So he's due a haul, which is why I keep putting him up in my Betway bet, because he's definitely due some kind of return any minute now. And I wouldn't be surprised if it came within the next 7 days with the 2 games coming up, because he definitely deserves it. Deserves an actual goal.
Right, I'm going to ask this now. I'm going to put my neck out on the line, because I'm sure in my head 1 million people at home, when they hear the phrase XG, are going, "What is that?" But they're just too scared to ask. So they don't want to seem like out of the know or not cool, in with the cool gang. I know it stands for expected goals, but I still don't. What is it, Jonesy? Tell me.
Well, you have XG and XA. XA's expected assists as well.
Does that include ones where you ricochet them off 2 defenders on the way in?
It's a good question, actually. I'm going to look into that later.
Is there an XTS, expected trick shots?
No, but there's probably a market for it. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But it's basically every shot made is, depending on where it is on the pitch, is given a rating. And then over the course of the game, all those shots are added up to have a final rating. And normally it's there or thereabouts what the actual goals were in the game, but it's the chances of converting a goal from where that shot was taken. It's given a rating. Right. You could probably explain it a little bit more concisely than that, but I'm not really an XG expert, so that's my.
Football does not need to be that nerdy, does it? It
really
doesn't.
I mean, I quite like it. If you like your stats like I do, if you like your stats like I do, then you kind of you look at it and go, well, that player's due. He's in a bit of form. He's been a bit unlucky, so he's due a goal, like Jarrod Bowen.
That's the difference, isn't it? Me and Reece are there, like enjoying the away fans spilling out onto the pitch, and you're there with your notepad going, "Oh, actually, well, that shouldn't have been an assist, really." And he's only got 4x. I don't care. And those fans, that's actually against ground regulations. That's not very safe to be on the pitch. So if you can go and sit down carefully, please.
Is that how I speak?
God, bloody hell. I'll tell you what, Josie, I don't think I do want to meet up with you before the Vienna game on Thursday. By the time the game comes around, I'll be like, stuff this, I'm going home.
I've got the perfect Christmas present for you this year, mate. I know exactly what I'm buying you for Christmas.
The XG Bible, 700 pages of why.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, look, lads, it's a brilliant result nonetheless. Like I say, the result put us 7th in the league, still in the mix for those European places, of course. But I was getting quite excited about it all when someone reminded me the other day was still 1 place behind Brighton and Hove Albion, which is a little bit unnerving. And Brighton playing